Hey everybody, welcome to the Lifestyle Practice Podcast. Steve Vandegraff with you today. I'm very happy to be with you guys. While I'm recording this, it is the beginning of January 2025, and I hope you guys are all off to a good start of your year. I'm going to jump right in. I wanted to give you a simple tip, but one that if you do it every day, can help you produce $100,000 more this year than you did last year. I'm serious, and it's super simple. What's the trick, you may ask? It's very easy. I want you to be at the office 15 minutes earlier every day this year. What's the trick, you might ask? That much difference for that little time? Yes, really. How does this work? Being to the office 15 minutes earlier every day than you have previously been is going to set an intention for yourself and for your staff each morning. You're going to prepare for opportunities instead of just reacting to what comes your way. You're aligning yourself with the universal rule that attacking your obstacles early in the morning is going to bring you rewards. I'm not talking about getting to the office early and piddling around or just looking at your phone. I'm talking about setting the tone early on, getting a head start out of the gate, and creating extra opportunities for productivity. I'd wager that a majority of dentists show up to work at the hour or maybe even just after and don't even really know what's on the schedule before them. They show up and one of their assistants say, there's a patient in room 1 for filling, so that's where you head off to start your day. And I'm guilty of this. I've been there and done that. Why do we do it? Because it's putting off work and it's putting off thinking about work until the last possible minute. But instead of just doing what comes your way, go on offense and make things happen. Okay, so how is this specifically going to make a difference? In multiple ways. The first thing it's going to do, it's going to give the culture in your office an immediate boost. Instead of stumbling in after your team has been there and after they've been chit-chatting, you're up and at it before they get there. You're greeting them as they come in. You're there early, following them up on their duties, reviewing the schedule, doing some training. You're setting an expectation for your team of what it looks like to work in your office. Do you have an employee that's regularly late? Well, you probably wouldn't know firsthand if you're not coming in yourself until treatment starts. But start a little earlier. Then you're there, waiting for him or her to come in, and you can address it with the team member immediately as they arrive. The most demoralizing thing in an office is when a team member isn't doing their job and the doctor doesn't do anything about it. This just burns out the good employees. Well, if you're there early, you can catch it right from the get-go before it becomes a problem. Do you feel your team just generally drags their feet or misses things? Like if a patient comes into the office for a delivery and while they're in the waiting room, that's when someone finally realizes the crown or denture isn't back from the lab. Or maybe when a patient has treatment scheduled, but their insurance isn't verified, so they're confused about what it's going to cost. Don't be that office. This stuff can only happen when there are no systems in place and when things are not being checked beforehand. It's lazy, and it doesn't happen in offices where things are done intentionally and early in the morning. So there's going to be a profound impact on your team and the tone for the entire day. But does this really increase production $100K a year? Is that crazy? No, it's really not. I mean, that's roughly $500 a day. Here's how you're going to do it. Get in early, 15 minutes early, sit down and study your schedule. First thing you might see are the holes in your schedule. Do you or your hygienist have empty appointments? And I hope not. This should not be an uncommon thing. If your appointment book isn't full in the morning, or if you aren't scheduled to go, then you need to be discussing that with your front desk before the day starts. This shows her how important it is to you, and you guys can come up together with ideas how to fill the empty spots. This could be an ASAP call list, converting same-day treatment, offering a cleaning to a limited exam patient. If you're not discussing these holes in the schedule first thing in the morning with your front desk, the message you're sending is that it's normal and it's okay. You don't want that because it's not. So you sit down and study your schedule. Go over every appointment. Ask yourself, what else can I do? Look up each patient's chart. Is the scheduled treatment for that day the only thing they have treatment planned? If not, you're going to go into the appointment and tell them that you can fix the other teeth on the other side of the mouth while they're there. Are there patients coming in with stage treatment plans, surgical phase, restorative phase, and then perio and pros? Don't be afraid to combine those. I love appointments where I go in and I numb an entire side, top and bottom, do a few fillings, go ahead and scale the quads, and then do a couple extractions. It's way better for the patient because it's quick and easy, and it's a lot better for you. Review your x-rays for the procedures you're going to be doing. You may very well find interproximal problems or other things on neighboring teeth. So maximize every appointment. After you've looked to see how you can maximize the appointments, look at how the appointments fall next to each other. Where are your limited exams and what's around them? Does the appointment in the other chair at the same time have a lot going on? What about the appointment after? If not, you'll know that you need to put special emphasis on doing that treatment today. You'll tell your assistant in your front desk to be ready to have an accurate treatment plan quickly that hour. Do you have an empty chair? Look at the hygiene patients the hour before and hour during. Do any of them have outstanding treatment? You can offer to do it while they're already there at the office. If they don't have something outstanding, just know that you can do a really good exam. And if you find something, tell them this is perfect. We actually have time today. We can get this fixed so you don't have to come back. If you're really busy, what is your plan to get the emergency patient that calls to come in today? Does your front desk know where you want them to squeeze them in? The goal is to add as much treatment as possible. Trust me, you can find or add $500 to $1,000 of production opportunity in a day like this, likely more. Next, improve your efficiency. Which of the appointments are going to demand the most of your time and focus? Which appointments are easier? And then plan accordingly. Always start with the largest appointments first, as soon as possible. We're talking about multiple composites or root canals. These type of procedures, they demand your time more than other procedures. So if you're slow to start these, it's going to put you behind and it can ruin your day. These are really important principles to understand when you have a busy schedule or you're working out of multiple chairs. Find the smaller appointments or the adjustments that you can do quickly and see if you can delegate them away. You can be flexible with these appointments. Plan your flow before the patients show up. Being more efficient will free you up to take on more production that's ahead of you that you haven't had on the schedule yet, and it will make your patients, your team, and of course yourself much happier. So the word is prepare. Little story for you. I played some basketball early on in high school. During one of our seasons, our biggest game was coming up against our rival, and of course, we really wanted to win. For practice that week, it was cool what our coaches did. They took all the substitute players on our team, went to the other side of the gym, and the assistant coach taught them the offensive sets that our rival school regularly played. So they learned it. Then they came over to our side of the gym and ran these offensive plays on us so we could practice defending against the plays that we would likely see in the real game later that week. There was one player on the opposing team that had a huge, very strong physical center that always out-rebounded the other players in the paint. So for practice, every day that week we ran multiple rebounding drills and we had contests of boxing each other out. The other team had an all-star guard who was left-handed. He was very talented and he scored most of their points. So we prepared for that. The last practice before the game, our coach actually called in a left-handed alumni player that had played at our school previously and graduated. He was really good. And so our coach brought him in, gave him the ball, and had him run plays against us over and over. And he did this so we could have practice going against a really talented left-handed player. So we could learn how to force him the other way, to get used to screens on the other side. This is how the coaches prepared us. They were very intentional about each aspect of the game, and they had us ready for things coming our way before we experienced them. If we would have just shown up to that rivalry game at the end of the week and just, winged it or played basketball, our chances of winning would pretty much be zero. The same principle applies in your office. If you just show up in the morning with no prep, if you walk into the operatories without a plan or you have no playbook for your team, you for sure are not going to have the same results than if you did. And you guys, giving it your all each day at the office is kind of your rivalry game. This is a big deal. You're doing this for your family and for your life. Don't be complacent about it. Don't be lazy. So I'm challenging you to beat your old self to the office. Set the tone early and get your team off on the right foot. If you study your schedule and find places to add production, you'll be more efficient. And if you do this every day, you can totally add $100,000 of production. Put it to the test and then let me know how it goes. Thanks for listening. The content that Matt, Derek, and I put together for these podcasts is stuff that we've done in our own practice. It's not some made up thing. It's not some consultant advice. This is real dentistry that we do every day in our practices, and it's helped us to get where we're at. So we really hope that this podcast is helpful for you. If you're working hard, but you're still not where you want to be, or if you're struggling to implement better practices in your office, we can totally help. Shoot an email to Steve, Matt, or Derek at thelifestylepractice.com. We always try to make openings for dentists who are really serious and motivated. If that's you, we'd love to connect. With that, everybody, have a great week. Peace.